So, welcome everyone to this edition of Ascension 101 with me, Lovisa Alvtörn, and Ascension specialist Tim Wild. Welcome back, Tim.
Hi, Lovisa. Thank you. Thank you. Lovely to see you.
You too. So this video series is meant as support, comfort, inspiration, and encouragement for anyone waking up spiritually. The background is all that I personally went through when I started waking up myself, a little over 3 years ago now. And now I would like to help others going through this same process. Make it a little bit easier for you by putting together this video series where Tim and I go through a lot of the subjects and questions that tend to come up as you go through your awakening process. So in the first 4 parts of this series of videos, Tim and I talked about many of these subjects. So do check those out, the previous parts, if you haven't already. In part 1, you get an introduction of Tim, and in part 3, an introduction of me. And we're also doing a separate session, especially for your loved ones, for your family and friends, of all of you who are going through your spiritual awakening. So it's important to keep in mind that they're also deeply affected by what you're going through. It's not easy for them either, watching you change before their very eyes without really understanding what's going on. And your light, your frequency will light up everything around you. So it will reach them as well and shake them as well. And after the 4 first parts of this series were done, I was really encouraged by Spirit to make a video also for the bystanders, as I realized that many of them were also watching, but we weren't ever addressing them directly, really trying to see their point of view. And I believe it's really helpful to put ourselves in the other one's position as well. So check it out yourselves as well. Apart from addressing our loved ones, Spirit also pointed me to the children, clearly asking that Tim and I do this session dedicated to the new children. They're so important, they're vital for the future of the planet, and I've been getting so much input around these 2 subjects, so much that they make up a whole session each with Tim and I. And the children feel really important to talk about because we all come into contact with children in some way, whether as a parent, a teacher, a grandparent, relative, or a friend. Now the term the new children deserves a bit of explanation. And I thought you say something about that, Tim?
New children, yes. Yes.
You may hear terms such as crystal children, other names of previous generations, indigos, and so on. Yeah. I'm thinking, aren't all children born from around 2012 and onwards new children? In that the aspect they're born outside the karmic wheel as well.
The new wave started around 2010. There is a very kind of distinct cutoff point with what we would categorize as kind of new children, but the really high frequency souls that we are interacting with now on a daily basis, they began to kind of come in kind of like a slower quantity around 2010, and then at 2012 every single soul that has been born on this planet falls into the category of, obviously they're new children because they're young, but new children on a soul and vibrational level. Now a lot of these children that are coming in, they are karma free because they have been born, they've come down with a very specific mission, and they are of a frequency that has not been Earth and its current makeup was not used to the frequency that is coming in with these kids. They're coming in from such a high level that people literally weren't ready for them. They're designed to shake up the foundations of everything that was in existence previously, and turn and almost terraform their environment to suit their vibration. So they're very, very special. Sort of like it's quite like a sweeping term, new children. They are the future of our our golden era. You know, when these children are adults, our planet will be a very different place. They are the building blocks, they are the foundation, they're the future leaders, the teachers, the people who will be in the positions that we are in now in 10, 15 years time. Important lot.
Yeah, so one way of seeing this term as well is that they may be new to Earth. Because this really changed my whole viewpoint when Birken Tor, who is a spiritual teacher, healer, medium, Atlantean, that you know as well, Tim, he told me that when I had a conversation with him when I was just waking up and I was asking about my children, and he said, you know, Lovisa, you and I have been here on Earth many times before, but for my son, then it's the first time here, and that really changes a lot. We've had you as well, Tim, we've had so much time to practice everything earthly, but these children, for them, it could be all new. And of course, since many of them are of a very high vibration, it makes the denser energies that's still existing here very challenging as well.
Excuse me. Yeah, a lot of them aren't comfortable with the old way. I mean, the way you can identify a new child is by how they are interacting with their environment. And my son was born in 2011, and I've probably told you the story before. I thought I ran a fifth dimensional ship. I thought, you know, we got our house the highest frequency version available. And when he came in, everything changed. He systematically made us, through his child, you know, the way a child demands that its environment works for him, changed everything that we had around us until it suited his needs. Now, every single household on this planet at the moment will be experiencing at least one of their kind of brood of children who are resonating at this frequency. And you know from personal experience as well, Lovisa, there is no way that change doesn't occur when these children come in. And they've, like you say, they have no earth experience. Everything is completely new. Like, say for the sake of example, you come from a 10th, 11th, 12th dimensional frequency. Everything at that vibration is non-physical. You have no physical experience. So all of a sudden you're put into this body, everything's solid. The crystals are solid. The bottles of water, what's this stuff? Water. Oh, that's solid too. And nothing is engaged with in the same way as they are used to. So it's the learning curve, the getting used to planet Earth bit is a lot more, has to be a lot more kind of a precision organization than when we were born. And I'm sure there is lots of people kind of looking at this video now and listening to these words thinking, yeah, that sounds familiar, because my child, the last, say you've got 4 children and one of your children, and the last of your children was born 2012 or after 2012, and that child is so completely different from the rest of them, has different needs, has different outputs, has a completely different energy. This is why, because these children are coming in and their needs are utterly completely different. They are calling for their parents to step into their higher roles and work at a higher frequency. And it's one of the most effective ways that I've seen of bringing this planet up to speed. Do you see where I'm coming from with that? It forces change.
Yeah. I'm thinking also that being of a high vibration, they're often quite sensitive, right? They may find it hard to cope with the lower frequencies that we still have. But there are still a lot of misinterpretations, the behavior of many of these children. You have putting diagnosis on them, like ADHD, autism, or something. That's because they're finding it difficult to fit in to the old norm. Following the old rules at school and so on.
The old way, the old system, the old way of life will not work for these children. I think we're going to have to be quite quite direct and to the point about what these children need, because it's so essential that people understand what it is that what they are dealing with here. And we've said this in the previous videos as well, we are going through a planetary change. That you know, you've only got to look outside what's going on in the world, the news, the social media, the kind of the literal uprising of this kind of lion energy, which is global now, and this is to create change. This is to alter the society that functions at was functioning at a 3D level, and build something new. And these children are an integral part of that. Whatever existed previously, the school systems, the medicine, the everything that, especially like the food, anything that they take into their body, like on an energetical level, on a physical level, if it vibrates at a lower frequency, it will not resonate with them. And this is why there are. And another interesting thing is, like, and this applies to all of us as well, because, you know, over the last 10 years, we've all been to the doctors at some point with undiagnosable symptoms, Ascension symptoms. You know, like, they're going to be rewriting the books, if they haven't done already, about sort of like this huge quantity of people on the light path that have stepped up, raised their vibration, and suddenly been hit by an absolute truckload of symptoms that nobody can diagnose. I had it in 2003. Went through 6 months of feeling like I was going to be kind of like, you know, taken off this planet, and felt absolutely awful. And the only thing that the doctors could find wrong with me is an elevated white blood cell count. It's because the amount of energy that I was bringing into my body that was changing me. So the same thing is applicable for these children as well. If it is not in resonance with their heart, their physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual dynamics, you will know about it. Okay, and we've seen so much evidence of this going on in our society at the moment.
And I was going to mention a little bit more about these things later, but also to remember that these children have chosen on a soul level to incarnate here on Earth now. Like, we tend to worry about them, but this is their soul choice, and it's our soul choice if we have one of these children as our child to, you know,
it's our agreement.
And also one thing, that they were made for these times. They're stronger than what we may give them credit for if we worry about them.
They might appear energetically to be incredibly fragile, and on a parental level, we are always responsible for our children up until the age of the way that the soul, the soul aspects download, as you probably know, by the time they hit 16, that's when mum and dad are, you know, they step back with their energetic responsibilities. Up until the age of 16, mum and dad call the shots energetically, but bearing that in mind, you are working with a child that is demanding the highest. You know, energetically, everything has, so you've got a lot of, you know, being a parent is a massive responsibility. Being a parent for a child that's come in at a very high frequency with a mission takes the parental responsibility to a different level. So it calls it all into a much higher bandwidth of energy.
There's another spiritual teacher that I followed since I started waking up, Amanda Ellis. She recently did a video on how to support the children when they're going back to school now, since the school terms are just starting right now when we're recording this. And she reminded me of this, their strength, to remember they were born for these times.
Yes.
So,
it's a lot of us who are aware of the world at the moment will be feeling the urge to kind of like wrap our children up and maybe protect them from what's going on out there. And so you've got to find this kind of happy medium, this balance of you know, they will let you know if anything is out of alignment with them. You know, you will, if you're in tune anyway, which I'm sure all of you are, those of you that are listening, those of you who are tuning in, you will already be aware of your connection to your child, and you will know exactly what you need, what that child needs. Most important thing is to honor that. Okay, whatever that child is asking for energetically, or on a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual level, make sure that those needs are met within the kind of as best that you possibly can. You'll know if they're suited for school, you'll know if they're not suited for school, you'll know if the environment's resonating with them, you'll know what they need to eat, you'll know what needs to go into their body. Work with them on that level. It's very important.
Because to remember also that if we worry, we have fearful thoughts and emotions, they lower our vibration, and therefore our children's vibration as well as what we're sending out. So
very much so.
And fear also weakens the immune system.
Yeah.
So it's important that we as adults take this responsibility of helping them by raising our vibration, being positive.
Absolutely. It's very important that especially as those of you listening to this will be what we call the leading lights within the family. You know, like there's always one. Okay, you're that light, you're that torch bearer, Lovisa. I'm that torch bearer. And anybody else listening to this will be the torch bearer. The responsibility is on your shoulders. I mean, 10 years ago, I'd have been a little bit more kind of tentative about telling people how much responsibility they've got, but I don't think we've got time and space for that anymore. The responsibility is here. It's action stations. The world is changing. So your vibration is paramount. Whatever mum and dad are, whatever frequency mum and dad are vibrating at, the rest of the household is vibrating at, the children are vibrating at it, probably the entire town that you live in is vibrating at it. The quantity of light and the quantity of frequency that we are emanating and taking in at the moment is colossal. So yeah,
because I think a lot of parents are feeling, if they're feeling selfish if they work on themselves, but actually it's not, because for you to work on yourself, healing, clearing, transmuting, raising your vibration, you need to be the best that you can be for the children.
Optimum level.
It's really contagious. I noticed with my youngest, he's so sensitive, like picking up and every emotion and everything.
Yeah.
From the rest of us.
You've got to be realistic about this, though. I mean, I've always said that one of the most difficult tasks on the light path is to be a parent, is to have a family. If anybody can be fifth dimensional, if they're sat on top of a mountain in their cave, eating berries, having a nice time, meditating all day, one of the most difficult things, and I'll tip my hat to all of you out there at the moment. Like, if you've got kids and you're bringing them up and you're on the light path and you're keeping your vibration high, you are tip of the spear. You are doing what has been the Atlanteans cracked it. They had a society that was completely child orientated. The children were the center of the society, and everything worked out from that point. They were revered. The Atlantean culture, the society, realized that the children of the future generation, whatever they teach and install and put within that the childhood program, would resonate at the highest level when the children are running the temples, you know, like keeping the vibration high, keeping the water clear, being kind to the animals, loving the land. Everything that we do now is passed on. But we're in this incredible period of change, you know. Until the fall, the Atlanteans didn't really, they certainly didn't experience the transition that we're going through now. It's what we're doing at this moment in time is painting a picture very, very precisely, energetically, although it looks very chaotic. And when this picture is complete, the children will be stepping into the roles that, like I said earlier, that we are currently in. So it's an important shift. It's an important process. I'm
feeling now, like, don't beat yourself up either. Anyway, if you're not like the highest vibration all the time, and you know, we're all human. We're all
very, very important. I think I digress slightly, but that's what I was trying to say.
Yes, I thought
always you will always be, you know, it's When I first started doing this job in 2013, I've already a parent, already married, and my policy was family first. Okay, like, you know, so yes, I'm here to assist with the ascension on the planet of this planet and bring as many people through the ascension process as I possibly can take, but family first. At the end of the day, that's the unit that you focus on and you put your primary energy into. And because if that's flourishing, you're flourishing, and everything around in your immediate world is flourishing as well. So yeah, like, you're going to have, but if you're a mum or a dad, you're going to have days where you are tearing your hair out. That's just being a parent. It doesn't mean that you're a crap light worker or anything, or that you're failing as a parent. It just simply means that you're having a day. So just brush yourself off and kind of get on with it, really.
I mean, and we do tend to worry. There's like a million things to worry about the children. Are they doing okay in school today? Are they getting home all right? They're eating their lunch? They're doing okay with their friends? But it's better to turn it around, and instead of sending those lower energies to them, ask the angels to support them, use the violet flame for them, for the school. Ask Archangel Gabriel to put them within his cosmic diamond, like, use tools. Like, well, if you're not feeling,
children love
crystals. Yeah.
I mean, if you'll probably find that, obviously, keep small children away from small crystals. You don't, because like, I remember sort of like
my youngest had, where is it spit it out.
It's a teething age, and I can remember kind of confiscating some of my smaller skulls off Lewis when he was small, because he'd either put them in his mouth or they were bumper cars. I can remember it. But the children will always gravitate towards crystals. And like, one of the things I've always said, if you want to know how to make a crystal grid, watch a child. Crystals, they are completely in flow. Okay, like, they will not engage their brain. They will simply do what these crystals feel energetically prompting them to do. And so if you are currently going through what many of the parents are going through, I mean, Sweden is, like I said, like, you're very blessed in Sweden at the moment, because you seem to have a level-headed playing field. But in the UK, there's a lot of parents that are facing sending their children back into a system that really does not seem very child friendly. And so this is where, you know, this is where kind of things get a little bit more serious at the moment, because I've been saying to people that have been emailing me, if you're not comfortable, if your energy is telling you to you do what is best, you do what is right for your child. Okay, you do not let anybody outside tell you what your child needs or what to do with your child. You are responsible for your child. That includes school, that includes medicine, that includes food, absolutely everything. You know, it's one of the things that we're going to see over the next 6 months is kind of an increase in the state wishing to interfere with the upbringing of our children. And a part of our bringing our power back to us is us saying, no, we are in charge of what our children need. And particularly in the UK, people have been emailing me and saying, what do I do? I'll say, well, you do whatever you feel is right. But if they are going back into a system where you think the energy is slightly dodgy, send them with a crystal. Program that crystal to protect them, to keep their vibration high. Like you said, Lovisa, use the violet flame, use the cosmic, you know, the diamond ray. Send the angels, send the dragons, whatever you feel that child needs. Well, they might be completely comfortable with it. Like you say, these kids are resilient. They're masters. They are incarnated masters, and they are powerful. They're powerful little souls. So just do whatever you feel is right. Trust your instincts.
You've been mentioning diet a little bit. That is really important for them. Nutrition. They will often be very sensitive to all kinds of toxins, energetically or physically. So like lots of fresh fruit, greens, veggies. Important food if you can get them, if you can get organic, it's even better. Lots of fresh water,
Lots of
and also bless your food and water as well. And interestingly enough, the kids may very well know instinctively what's good for them.
yeah.
My children love fresh fruit and veggies.
Yeah.
They could eat just that for dinner. I have
Yeah.
to like take it away. Like, you have to have a little bit of potatoes and the other stuff. But
yeah, like a tapas board.
Yeah. But the subjects of toxins and diet, maybe supplements, and would you tell us a little bit more about that, Tim, please?
I think this is very important, and like I said to you at the before we kind of organised it, I'm not going to use the trigger words, because the trigger words are what flag certain videos. You've probably, those of you listening will be aware of how I feel about the kind of the majority of the kind of allopathic, or what we call the medical interventions that are becoming very, very prevalent part of our society at the moment. And I'm going to be quite blunt about it. The higher frequency children do not resonate with any kind of artificial interference in any way, shape, or form. So, and you'll understand what I mean about this. Like, keep their immune system natural. Okay, feed them the fresh foods, the fresh vegetables. Get them the sunshine. Get them fresh air. Let them do the things that children do to build their immune systems naturally. The second you start adding chemicals to this equation, and this includes food as well. This includes food, it includes fizzy pop, sugar, all of that kind of stuff. But I'm predominantly talking about the kind of things that are required on kind of like a medical level now. This is where you are going to see your child reacting, because their bodies, energetically and physically, are not designed to cope with it. Our bodies aren't designed to cope with it. So you can imagine how sensitive these children actually are to it. And that's kind of basically it in a nutshell. If something is not resonating with you, if it's setting off that red flag, those alarms, don't do it. Particularly in this current day and age of what we've got going on around us in this year, this 2020, the kind of the year of the pandemic or whatever. It's very important that you are taking full conscious responsibility for your health and particularly your child's health as well.
I'm also feeling that go with your own what you feel in your heart. We have the ability to discern what's real, what's true, and what's not, and don't let anyone else tell you if it doesn't feel right.
I like to say, mum knows best. If you want to know what's best for your child, you ask mum. You know, you couldn't be more. It's our society has tried to kind of like, you know, devalue the connection of the mother-child connection. You could have no stronger connection to a soul that has been brought into the planet, where you are the portal for that connection. So you are naturally going to know exactly what that child needs, and never let anybody tell you anything different from how you are feeling, how you are resonating with that. It's incredibly important.
So we talk a little bit more about crystals.
Yay!
Laying out grids and letting the kids help. I have two sons. One of them is not very interested at all, but the other one, the younger one, he loves it. He carries them around everywhere, and he kisses my crystal skulls, and he does the most amazing grids. Let them help. Definitely let them pick their own crystals. See if they're interested, and talk to them. They probably know, about how crystals can help, but it might be completely natural to them. And my youngest, he turns 5 soon. He comes around here and he puts crystals by my computer or next to me, and he says, like, it's being charged, or it's collecting power, it's protecting you, mom.
They know. They know exactly what these crystals do. But say for the sake of example, like, how crystals can help you. Say you've got quite a chaotic household. Now, I put a video out this morning on my Tim Wild Practical Ascension page. It was the video's Archangel Metatron's light bath. Now, that that meditation came through to me in 2013, and it was kind of like came through to me when I was absolutely at the end of my tether, because we'd driven down to France on holiday. All of my children were young at this point. My stepson Luke was 13. My oldest was 11, and my Josh, I think he was 8 or 9, and Lewis was a year and a half or 2 years old or something like that. It was chaos. So by the end of the 2-week holiday, kind of in this shack in France, I'd been kicked out of my bed. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I was sleeping in the cot room, all kind of curled up. And I was just tired. I wanted to go home. I wanted my home comforts, and the just 2 weeks of intensive child activity like that. And Archangel Metatron kind of dropped in, and he gave me the light bath, and I felt so much better afterwards. So this kind of like, if you're feeling low and you're drained at the end of the day, just raise your light back up. But say you've got a chaotic household like this, build a crystal grid for it. Okay, build a crystal grid that holds your household in harmony. And it might pay for you to kind of set the layout of it, and then let the children place their own crystals in there, because as soon as they've picked a crystal, it will harmonize with their energy. So always make sure that your home is the safety point. Okay, that's where that child feels safe, and that's where they can come and equalize, bring their vibration back to the state of equilibrium again. Because if you've got young children, invariably it will be chaotic. So having that kind of peace, that zone. And so crystals basically are the way forward. Like the children in Atlantis all had their own crystals. They went to school with a crystal. They would communicate with their crystal to receive information or communicate with the higher realms. They are naturally in tune with what they do. So always have crystals around them.
I know you said you could put crystals or a grid under their bed.
Yeah.
Particularly if
they're having trouble sleeping, or they're bothered with energies at night.
Or I let them have them in their teddies, like in the clothes of the teddies, because otherwise they might lose them. But they're in the bed with them. I don't think, you've heard me say it before, we wouldn't be where we are on this pathway at the moment without crystals. They've assisted us to make this jump ship in frequency, and they are the vibration that these new children will be feeling most at home with, especially if you've programmed the crystal to vibrate at a frequency that really matches the resonance of your child. And if your child is not that interested, still see if they are agreed to have it in their bag, school bag, or in their pocket, the jacket.
You can kind of plant it in the bag.
I do that. Mine are so young still.
They're not going to know it's in there. You just tuck it away in a pocket somewhere and make sure that it's programmed with whatever energy that you want that child to be carrying with you. And the crystal will always be linked to you. It'll always be linked to your household. So many things that you can do with them. There's so many things that you can create energetically to keep everything on as much of an equilibrium as you possibly can.
And I was thinking also talk to them about angels, dragons, the unicorns, if possible. And it's a good thing to tell them what you believe. What you see or feel or hear. And
exactly what I've done. I've brought mine up from a very early age, and they just think it's normal life now. They're not in any way, shape or form kind of like angels, like it's just literally part of their socialization. It's been around them since a very early age. So tell them what you believe in. Be yourself with that's a really important point, actually, Lovisa. Be yourself with your child. Don't pretend to be something else because you think that's what parents should be. Be yourself with your child.
And it could be also that the other parent doesn't believe what you believe, but still, let the child choose what they believe.
That's the age we live in at the moment. I think sort of most of us have kind of are steadily getting over what other people think about us. It's been quite a big breakthrough over the last 2 or 3 years. It's not long before we're going to be a majority. Everybody is thinking in terms of energy and spiritual movement now. It's a massive change.
And now I was thinking, I mean, if it's your grandchild, get them a toy with a dragon or a unicorn as well. Everything that has or a picture.
And if
everything.
you notice how huge that, especially the unicorn, and in the UK, anywhere you go in shops, there's unicorns everywhere. Stuffed unicorns, brightly coloured unicorns, giant unicorns, small ones, you know, rulers with unicorns on them. Like, that energy is very, it's all of a sudden it's infiltrated and made itself very, very present. So, you know, explain to them, if they're interested, what unicorn energy actually really is. And it's interesting because Diana Cooper's recently brought the unicorn documentary out, and it's worth mentioning because that's going to go mainstream. The intention of getting that information out there is so that people can watch it on platforms like Netflix. And really explain what this unicorn energy is and what it's doing, what it's actually, why it's part of our reality now.
And I think finally there are more children's stories and everything where the dragons are not bad. with nicer dragons, good dragons too. I've seen.
Yeah, when I grew up, dragons ate people. It was like that. They don't. Basically,
you're supposed to slay the dragon, you know.
Yeah,
king
yeah.
But
it's like, got no chance of that, and they don't eat people.
No. Oh, the dragons.
Wonderful beings.
Yeah. And other helpful energies to support both you and them could be Archangel Metatron, really looks after the children.
Mother Mary,
Archangel Mary, Universal Angel Mary too.
Any of the divine feminine masters that have spent time on earth, they've all been mothers. And
so I have the Mother Mary. I sprayed this before. Mother Mary Harbor Life.
Wonderful!
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
This is Amanda Ellis's.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Mother Mary and Universal Angel Mary, they are two different. They are two different souls working on two different energies. Just in case anybody's wondering. But especially if your child needs that extra, place Mother Mary's mantle around the aquamarine light, and around your child, and just allow them to kind of. Sometimes, if you're wondering what to do, it helps to just say, look, angels, I need some help or some advice with my child. Like, can you step in and provide me with a template of the energy that my child needs the most? Or another thing to do, very important, is speak to the higher self of your child. Okay, now the higher self of your child will be right there. It's not completely separate like it used to be. Your child is wanting to express its higher self at all times. That's what they are aiming to be, and they're going to be in that role very quickly, like a lot of us are. So communicate with the higher self of your child psychically. If you're wondering what your kid actually needs, ask it to come through a higher vibration. You get your answer very quickly.
And you said about Universal Angel Mary, but she really overlights Mother Mary.
Absolutely.
That energy. She also has that aquamarine.
Definitely.
We did mention, schools a little bit. I mean, if possible, we won't talk about it a lot, but if you have the possibility of choosing between different schools for your child, visit the school, see how you feel when you're at that school. You may let your child visit, ask how they feel about it, read up on different systems, see what feels right for your child. And there is a possibility of homeschooling, not in Sweden. Not allowed here, but in most places. And I don't know much about it, but I do know that it may be a good option for some children.
There is a huge, and I mean a huge, homeschooling movement, sort of like moving throughout the UK and the United States at the moment, because people just aren't resonating with the system anymore. It's like, it's that they are waking up, or have woken up to the point where they think that is not what my child needs. I'm not prepared to put my child in that environment. It's not spiritually supportive. And if it's not spiritually supportive for your child, then you shouldn't be, you know, and your child is not resonating with it, then take them out of it. It's, you know, it's, there's going to be a very interesting year, or a very interesting kind of next 4 to 6 months, as people are kind of taking it's this whole process. It's not just about parenting. It's about, you know, this is us included. It's about taking responsibility for ourselves and for our lives, because the 3D template energy is very much about handing your power over. You know, like they're expecting the government to look after you, and expecting, like, you know, if something's wrong with you, you hand it over to a doctor. That will still exist, but on a level where we are aware of the fact that we are the creators and we are responsible. And so this is going to be big with schooling. Actually, I think schooling system is one of the things that is going to change massively over the next few years.
I wanted to mention nature as well. We said something about it, but it can be so supportive, healing, calming for the children.
Yeah.
Some kids will go kind of hide away by sitting with their computer or their, you know, iPad, but try to get them out, to come out.
Very important.
Outside, climb trees, hike, you know, sleep in a tent, go outside into your garden or park to study and read if possible too.
They absolutely love it. I think that's another important point you've made, Lovisa. We live in a technological age at the moment, and all of my children, all of mine are boys. They've all been gamers. They love their computers. They love their laptops. They love their iPads, and we've kind of rolled with that, really, you know. But there's always been the quantity of balance thrown in there. So don't be worried if your child is kind of gravitating towards technology, because that is part of what we are moving into. This is a technological age, and a lot of the information and the, you know, obviously you've got to be careful with what they're watching and what they're receiving from their technology. But there's I'm not an advocate for completely removing technology and making sure that your child never has any contact with it, because they're geared up for this. This is what they're tuned into. I mean, my son has shown me how to do things. I'm thinking, how did you know that? You know, how did you know how to just go on my laptop and open that and close that? They are incredible, the way that they work. So. But nature is clearing, it is grounding, it is it's so healing. Okay, if your child is out of alignment, if they're stressed, take them out in nature. That is by far the best thing to do. So
all the elements too, like natural water sources, of course, the best with water, but also swimming pools, any water, connecting with water, it carries so much love and healing. Helps to clear out toxins, lower energies, emotions too, and the sun.
You're very blessed where you are in Sweden and Finland as well, because you've got all these beautiful stretches of water, the lakes, and it's lovely. In Britain, you have to go. We're beautiful in Britain, but you've got to go to the seaside mostly if you're gonna do it.
But I'm thinking sun, you might be fearful, like can harm their skin if they're too much in the sun, but don't avoid it completely, because it's essential to us to get that light on our skin and drain our eyes and help raise our frequency and recharge us when we're low on energy too.
Definitely.
And Earth, I mean, if they won't let their iPad go, have them sit outside with it. At least on the grass or something.
Well, they fight for their iPads, don't they?
Sorry?
They fight for their iPad.
Oh, yeah. But some of these children may not be fully present in their bodies, like children with autism, autistic traits. So grounding in. Or be active with your body too will help.
Movement, activity, very important. And
then air, of course, breathing the fresh air, open space, lie down on the grass, look at the clouds,
Yeah,
with your
all of
child.
the things that you might think that your child might find it boring, but they won't. They will love it.
No.
You know, like
Look at the shapes of the clouds, that
yeah,
everyone loves that.
yeah.
And
Any
help them connect
natural.
with the sky.
Yeah,
Look at the moon and the stars with them at night. Talk about the constellations.
yeah.
So connecting with the cosmos as well.
Anything.
Ask them what they think is out there,
Yeah,
because they might very well have clear memories, some of these children, where they come from,
yeah.
where they were before they came to Earth. So I asked my youngest one morning, he was talking about something. I was getting ready for, for work, and, getting their breakfast ready and everything. And suddenly, what's he talking about? Something about stars, and just came into my mind, like, so which star did you come from? And everything just
Yeah.
kind of stopped. Everything, like, it was like time stopped a bit. And he's like, the blue star, Mom.
The
And
blue.
that, yeah, and it was like he was so present. Like she wants to know this. Like his higher self was coming through so strongly.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Said it's the higher self is right there, so they can communicate on that level immediately if they're given the opportunity to do so.
And animals, did we mention animals? I don't know, but if some might find it hard with social interactions with their peers, but the animals are so good. I mean, all children in Atlantis used to have animals too, didn't
They
they?
used to have a rabbit, and the rabbit resonated with their heart centers, because rabbits are so heart based that they.
I had a rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my
I mean,
first
I
animal.
think most children do at some point, but there would be a cat
I
allocated.
wanted a horse, but
You
my
want a
parents
horse?
gave me a rabbit. I was very disappointed
Oh.
at the time, but I loved my rabbit.
You can't ride it, but it's
The responsibility of a horse, I think, would have been
yeah.
a bit much for me at that time.
So
But
each household had a cat to keep in Atlantis, to keep the energy, and of course there's the temple cats as well that were very, very powerful. But yeah, cats and dogs in Atlantis would come to the household and present themselves, like turn up on your doorstep, like, hello, I'm here, your household needs me, sort of thing, and there you'd have it.
I've been thinking also about conscious parenting, that you already said this is one of the biggest initiations in life, becoming a parent, and to really listen to our children, to their viewpoint, because they are sovereign beings. They're not someone that we're supposed to fill with knowledge and wisdom. They come complete,
Yeah.
And when they trigger us, usually it's because of an insecurity or a wound within ourselves. They're here to heal, to help us heal.
Yeah, they are. It's I think anybody who isn't triggered at some point by their children is it happens most of the time. It really does. It's just part of being a parent. It's not. You can't. There's some point you have to kind of like. There's things that happen in our lives that you can't always put down to the light worker pathway sort of thing. You say, like, this is part of being grounded on this planet, and in the ascension process is just things happen. It's everyday life.
When I was feeling into this subject about the children, something unexpected happened. So I'm going to bring up, share with you all what's like my biggest loss in this lifetime. In 2012, I lost my firstborn daughters, my twin daughters. And this was before I was spiritually awake, but this year, 2012, was, marks an important step in our ascension process, like of Earth, right? And you said in one of the previous sessions that I'm part of the Sentinels that started waking up around 2012.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I was thinking about, I didn't know this Sentinel. I didn't know what that was either. But so it occurred to me that this was 2012. So this is when it all started. They triggered it. But then it took me 5 years because I lost them, and then like everything in my life circled around becoming and being a mother. So then during these coming 5 years, I did become pregnant again, and I had my two sons. but my daughters are very much a part of our family, even though they're not here physically. And they're actually the ones who came in and told me to talk about this subject.
Yeah.
And now that some of these new children won't get to stay, they only visit briefly. And this is something that Birk and Tor also helped me see, that they might be their vibration might be too high for them to stay full incarnation. They can only come in briefly. This is how we explained it. And that was really comforting for me.
Yeah. And they come in as kind of catalysts, enormous catalysts. Like, you know, there can be no greater challenge to move through on the planet than what you've personally experienced, and the catalyst from that experience. Here you are. It's the movement, the energy movement is so tidal when that kind of thing happens. And so, like you say, you know, if there are these kind of like brief appearances like that will inspire incredible change wherever they occur. It's an important point, actually.
So I mean, even if it's an earlier miscarriage, or you lost your child later, my children were born prematurely, and so and they stayed for a few days with us, but they're not gone. I mean, their connection between you and them is going to still.
It's amazing. Amazing that they're guiding now as well, Lovisa. You know, because that's you know, that template will be with you, and
they connect in through me.
Yeah.
You know, they can physically, since I've carried them in my body, and I've heard that the DNA of the child always, when a woman is pregnant, some of the DNA of the child passes and ends up somewhere in the mother's body. So that's another that's another way that we're so connected to all of our children. We have their DNA within us, the mothers.
I know. It's
so they in this way, even my daughters, I'm a connection point, a physical connection point for them on Earth as well. And we celebrate their birthday. We talk about them to their younger brothers. So it's important to acknowledge them.
Yeah, very important.
If you are a bereaved parent, and it can be hard. You feel that it's something this is unfair, and it's all, you know, it's all backwards and feels wrong, and you blame yourself and everything. But remember that it was a soul choice, theirs and yours. It was an agreement.
Hard as those some soul agreements actually are. It's you know, it's important to acknowledge that.
And I wanted to mention now also a little bit about soul family. This ties in a bit before we end this session. There are a few terms. They would have soul brother, soul sister, soulmate, soul group. Because when it comes to our children, our family, and also friends, many of these souls we will have known in previous incarnations as well. So like my sister may have been my child, or, you know, my child may have been my brother, or like a brother type of energy, because I have a connection like that with one of my sons, where I feel that really strongly with him. Or you may have known them somewhere other than Earth, but that is so, isn't it, Tim?
This is very much so, and I'm sure all of you who've been kind of on the pathway now, either you're either just waking up into this, and it's jolly good fun, or you've very much, particularly since 2012, there has been a colossal push for the activation of the soul family. Now, this is all to do with the higher chakras working with us, the fifth dimensional chakras, because once these chakras are integrated and activated within the body, they change the template, and everything around you alters to fit that vibration. So you will become very aware of your connections to people, because, say for the sake of example, you were born before 2012, you will have come down with family karma, and you will also have come down with generational karma. Now, the majority of people that you would have been born with, say your brothers, your sisters, your mum, your second arm removed, whatever kind of thing. All of these are, again, pre-agreements on a soul level. You will have sat down round a table before you incarnated with these people and gone, right, okay, well, you're going to be blah, 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 blah. You're going to be that aspect of my life. You are going to carry this energy. You are going to teach me these lessons, or I'm going to teach you these lessons, and you know, we are going to resolve whatever karma, or we are going to move forwards, which is, it kind of, I've seen over the years a lot of kind of, you know, especially as soon as we step onto the pathway and raise our vibration, the first thing that tends to cause a little bit of conflict can be your immediate family, or your immediate kind of your partnerships, because you're raising your vibration. You are effectively changing or replacing who you are energetically. You might look the same, you might sound the same, but you're starting to give off a different vibration. And these soul agreements are in place up to a point, okay, and then when you shift your energy, when you bring in this new aspect of you, you get like a revised version of these soul agreements, because they take a different format, they take a different vibration. And so the people that you have around you will be of paramount importance, because they have been there to teach you lessons. They've been there as your spiritual support. They've been your guidance, maybe, or they've it's a huge subject. But I know for a fact that when this energy push came in at the cosmic moment, when planet moved in from 3D to 4D, all of the soul family stuff began to come up, because it's not so much now about the physical family, it's about who we're drawing into our lives to support us on our ascension pathway. Does that make sense?
It does. And then also, like, I feel like we are kind of like at end times of clearing karma, and
we have reached the end of the wheel of karma. Wheel of karma finished at the cosmic shift, the cosmic movement. Anything that we're still experiencing on that level, we're kind of just dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and kind of getting the last loose bits, but tied up and over and done with. But if you've been on the pathway for a while, one of the things that you might have experienced is what we call that the tunnel. It's almost like the tunnel of loneliness, where your previous family or your previous connections are no longer resonating with you, and you're calling on an energy level for support at a higher level, but you're not getting it. You're kind of there in the middle. You're on your own. One side isn't available and the other side isn't available. And you're kind of in that incubation period. A lot of you might be experiencing that at the moment, or you might have experienced it previously. And this is the point where you start calling the soul family to you. And it's happening so much at the moment because of what's going on this planet. You know, because we're stepping into our higher roles, and it's happening suddenly. There's all of these big shifts going on the kind of family level. It's very important to note that if you're on the pathway, that you will always have the support that you need around you. It's almost like that, and your family as a light bearer of your lineage. You know, if they're still there now, they'll be coming through with you. A lot of you might look at your family and go, "You're not awake. What am I going to do with you?" kind of thing. But you're leading the vibration. And a lot of the time people will be awake, but they might not necessarily be awake on a level that you can identify with, or that satisfies your kind of spiritual expectations. You know, you've got to kind of give people a little bit of leeway, particularly the blokes. A lot of the blokes out there, or the men, blokes is a very English word. A lot of the men out there are actually waking up. They're taking longer than the women, because there's more ego to work through. Women are more kind of connected to their heart centers. The men, it's been a very ego-run planet for the last 10,000 years. The blokes have kind of had a field day with it. Now we're stepping into this heart-centered vibration. you know, yeah, we've all heard the term the rise of the divine feminine. That divine feminine energy is becoming very, very prominent. So it's the men are manifesting their spirituality, but they might not be manifesting it quite in a way that you are used to, or you would identify as spiritual as such.
Yeah. And I think that concludes this session, Tim.
Yeah.
And I do hope that it's answered some of your questions regarding the children, everyone out there, and that we've given you some ideas, some tools to work with. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Tim, for being here.
My pleasure, Lovisa. Thank you. Thank you for providing such a platform that will hopefully help answer the questions that people have got out there, because there are lots of them at the moment. You know, we do our best to put the information out there, and to cover all bases is quite a it's a task of some magnitude. I think you've done a very good job with that. Thank you.
And do remember that these children, our young ones, are bringing in so much new wisdom to our planet. Yeah. They are the children, like you said.
They are the master.
Golden age. The master.
You will have a master crashing around your house, going through crystals, fighting for the iPad and everything. It's they are amazing. They are amazing little souls that are coming through, but they are getting increasingly more powerful at the moment.
They will create so much. They'll create so much magic in the time to come. So let's be the very best we can for them, and usher them in. Watch them transcend all the limitations we thought thought were there. Totally. But sending you all lots of love.
Yeah, lots of love to you all. Thank you, Lovisa.
Thank you.